Okay, hi everybody. This is my first stab at a coaching board, so indulge me a little bit if you don't mind. This is what I see as being our best side at this stage going into finals. Now, bearing in mind we've got a few injuries and people carrying things, so noticeably there, Marcus, who would normally do a job for us up front, is in here as left back. One, so that we can limit the amount of running he does, but also he's just as good at the back, and we don't have a natural left back in this formation unless I move Chris Harker to there, and he's too valuable at centre back. Chris Corbett's missing from here because he can't play finals. Um, in this formation, AA, which is Alex on the left, that would traditionally be Steve Richmond also, and James on the right, James Gooden, would also be Andy McLeod. And then where Glenn is at defensive midfield would be Andy Campbell when they're about. Um, so just bear with me, nothing personal in this. That's just how I see in our current setup our best side to put on the paddock. But our other players are just as valuable to interchange here and also need to know what's going on with the side too. This is the 3-5-2 or 3-1-4-2, whatever you want to call it. There are a couple of things that are a bit non-negotiable in this type of format. Is 9 and 10 stay close together and work together at all times. The two centre mids in the defensive midfield work together in a triangle, not necessarily staying where they are, but all work together and are always available to each other. And the left back, centre back, right back never changes. It might level up a little bit when we're up the other end of the paddock, but it'll drop into slightly deep sweeper role as the centre back, as Chris Harker is at this stage, and then right and left back, because we've only got three, not getting too wide. Now, any width in defence, if they can do it, and there's no guarantees they can do it because it's a big ask, but any width in defence would come from these wide midfields or wing backs, as they're trendily called nowadays, coming back and filling to make up to, sorry, this arm doesn't work too well still, coming down to make a back five if it was necessary. More often, because we don't want to get jammed in at the back, we want some avenues to counter-attack, and we're a very good counter-attacking side, and we also have one of the best defences in the division, so we can trust our back three to do the job. But say our ball comes down this side of the pitch, I'm going to rub the names out now, but just remember who it is and where. Marcus might drop across to cover that. Obviously then the sweeper drops across. The right back never comes across halfway, but he's going to narrow in a little bit and leaves this big gap here. Now that big gap can be filled by one of two people, whoever's closest. It can be here, just to cover any issue there, but also to give us some way of releasing the ball back up the pitch on the counter attack, because we've got somebody either in space here or they're covering somebody here. All right. The other option, of course, is if James is still up here from our previous attack and it's a quick break, is our defensive midfielder can drop in here, or if it's quicker, drop in here. All right. So you end up with a back four fairly quickly. But what it really means is that once this back three gets broken from that position, then somebody needs to be aware of that and help out. So conversely, if the ball breaks down this side, all right, our wing back might cover that, in which case we can reasonably hold our shape. Or if again they're committed forwards, then our defensive midfield might come across to put some pressure on. Okay, the right back comes to cover. Sweeper drifts, and ideally he's left spare. Left back never comes across halfway, and we cover the gap this way. All right, but equally, if we've got centre midfields here, they mustn't be shy of defending either, and can drop into this gap. So, just from watching last week, and just generally, you know, we have probably, when our forwards are firing, they're as good as anything in the comp. This centre midfield and these midfielders are as good as there is in the comp, and we have the best back line in the comp. So, you know, this is looking really good, as long as why do we only beat Moss Vale W 2-0 is just didn't quite work together the best we can. And we all know it's not easy when we get out there, and making good decisions is tricky. But the three areas that we need to try and concentrate on is these three holding their position, these two providing width. So if Alex, as he can do sometimes, gets sucked into here, you know, it's all a bit congested in here and there's nowhere to get out of there. So we're better to hold our position, and these three in different order but move around the pitch, you know, in whatever order. Excuse my fingers again, my arm's not working overly well, but they move around kind of like that, right, when we have the ball. And obviously when we don't have the ball, then we've got to be careful that in this formation Glenn doesn't get sucked forwards too much. All right, but it could equally as easily be, if Glenn goes off a bit of a run or plays a 1-2 with James, that somebody has to be alert here in the centre mid. But we've still got this nice little triangle here, look. It's all about just helping each other out. 9 and 10 must stay close together. All right, so they're using each other. Traditionally 9's a bit of a target man. Dave and Brett both do that well, so they hold it up, feed it off to Johnny, who's quite creative, and you know, we can either have a shot on goal, or we can use whatever support arrives for us. But the three main areas are these three holding their shape, or if somebody does decide to go, then we need to be aware of that and drop in so that we've still got the three. All right, and maybe there. Now these three are working together and these two are supporting. All right, so there's a lot of mix and match going on, and we're capable of doing that, but also it's a lot more fun if we don't get stuck into rigid roles. But those roles are there for a reason. They have to be done, and therefore if you do move out of position, you need to bark at somebody to come in for you, or somebody needs to see what's going on and be able to do that. And I think we're all capable of seeing that there's an issue and then filling a void. All right, now the roamers, if you like, are these two. All right, so in this formation would be James and Alex, but could be Andy McLeod, Chris Corbett, could be Steve Richmond down this side. When our keeper has the ball, all right, playing out of here, these two drop back. Okay, there's an option here in the middle, and generally if you've got two forwards here pressing somewhere, then one way or the other is out of trouble. And then this guy's got to be alert, James in this formation, or Alex here, excuse me, to give us the next ball out of play. So if the ball goes out to the left back, he's always got an option down the line, which is a very safe option. All right, if we lose it there, it's not going to hurt us. If our defensive midfielder drags us across, he's our playmaker. In here, this is Glenn. He's our link man to these guys. All right, so that option's not there. Might give it to Glenn. He's skillful enough to be able to hold it and then knock it to a couple more skillful players. All right, Russell or Steve Giddings, and then suddenly, you know, we're out of there. But it's all about supporting each other, and really these three need to work together. These three need to really never lose their shape. These two should never be more than 15 or 20 yards apart. These two can ad-lib a bit more, but be very responsible that if, you know, somebody goes, we're always looking to cover anything left by somebody getting out of position. All right, so where you get into issues a little bit is possibly where say Glenn gets a bit gung-ho, right, and he goes for a bit of a run, right, takes on 3 or 4 different players, all right, loses the ball up here somewhere. Now there's a big hole, the ball comes over the top, suddenly they break and they're straight on our defence. So going for that run, taking everybody on, and that's not particularly Glenn's go, but just say a person in this position was to try and take everybody on, you just beware that when you do lose it, and if you take everybody on, you are going to lose it. All right, that ball over the top leaves us vulnerable at the back. So we're much, much better to play through our skillful channels, all right, and knock the ball around. But again, that's reliant on having people in space. So Glenn's got the ball. What's he got here? He's got possibly, well, one of 7 options, isn't there, almost? Here, 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 here. The chances are one of those options is going to be on if everybody's in their position. If, say, James is, and this isn't James's go either, but it's a bit slow to get back. All right, Alex has got sucked across into here, and our back line's a little bit out of shape, while this guy's left wanting a bit. So the less you get out of shape, the less you have to try and get back into shape, okay? But our ad-libbers are out here. Our 3 that really work together at all times, and sometimes swap and change, but they're always together. Our front 2 never far apart, so they're using each other, and our back 3 staying in shape. All right, thanks for that. Let me know what you think. All right, see you again. Bye.